All right, good morning. Welcome, guys. For those of you guys that just joined, we're going to talk a little bit about goal setting. So I know I posted twice, but we're going to talk about goals. Um, like I talked about in the post that I dropped last night. So for those of you that are scooting in here right now, what I want you guys to think about, I want you to raise your hand. I want you to think about like the month of July. We closed that out. We're moving into August. What were some of the intentions, goals that you set for yourself in July? And think about like where am I now according to those goals, and then we can move into like really setting some ourselves up for success in August. Like where do we want to go from where we are now? So raise your hand. Christina Pinto, tell me.
Okay, so July, I knew it was going to be tough because of vacations, a lot of travel. I think I've made it through successfully, right? I mean, I had some bumps in the road, but I feel like I'm back on track, back in the gym, back with my nutrition, like being good. But I think the biggest change is mindset for me. Like I feel like I finally let go of old like tricks kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm being more honest with myself these days.
Honest with yourself. What is
Hmm.
okay? I like that. So before we talk about like, so that's something like that came into what does that look like more for you? What do you mean by that? Kind of go a little deeper.
You know how we all play those games where you can kind of like, oh, like I can have this and maybe not account for that. I don't know, like just being more, I don't know how else to say it, like being more honest, like
Mhm.
doing the work and the training, like really giving it, a real solid um
Kind of sort of doing things.
yeah, that's what it is. That's it. You know.
Yeah. I just wanted to see
Yeah.
if you were where you were, just getting you to kind of say it so everybody else could hear it. So, yeah, and kind of sort of can look like not being really honest with yourself. And
Hmm.
we've all been there, including myself.
Yeah.
Well, this little thing doesn't really matter. It's okay. I just won't track it.
Yeah, and being social, right? Like sometimes I might have been like, oh, whatever, like I'll have a drink or I'll eat this appetizer, yeah, and not track it. But I think like being prepared, you know, being more mindful when I know I'm gonna be out or traveling or it's gonna be challenging, I've been prepared. So I think I like there wasn't a huge physical shift in my body, I think, in July, but I didn't like gain weight. I think I have tightened up a little bit. I think like now August and September are going to be really good months because it won't be as full with like July was very busy, you know?
So I would say like if I hear what you're saying, July the goal was to really maintain, stick to my shit. Well, I had a lot going on. In
Hmm.
August we don't have a plan. So what do you feel like where do you want to be in August? Like what would be that main goal you want to set for yourself in August?
Oh, I want to like shed some more pounds, right? My next bracket down.
150?
Yep, in the 150s. What was I yesterday? I was 164. So, so that was like a little, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And yeah, so in the 150s would be wonderful. And like a little tighter everywhere. I feel like I am tightening up. So yeah,
All right, awesome. I love that. And how
yeah.
do you think you're going to achieve that this month?
Oh, it's all about consistency, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Mm,
All right. All right. I
yeah,
love it. Thank you for sharing.
of course.
And, guys, that's really the name of the game. Like, what Christina just shared is, she did make changes, not physically, even though she didn't perceive them as the scale moving in the right direction. She's right. She did tighten up. When we kind of go into that maintenance or, we have a month full of travel, if you're consistent, meaning you continually show up for yourself, and like she said, stop lying to yourself about things, and you're just really being honest with what you're doing. And that includes like, I did this, so now I need to rein it back in again. And then I'm going to maybe float a little bit, but a lot of what she did and her approach to it, she actually did continue to lose body fat, maybe at the rate that she wanted to, but she did see changes in there. And it's okay because now she's saying, okay, I got my shit is cleared for the month of August. I'm going to put my foot on the gas again. That's okay. You can take your foot off the accelerator, but when you take your foot off the accelerator, what you don't want to do is start a runaway car down the hill, right? You need to kind of tap the brakes on the way down. So it's about that consistency. It's not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And that's really what you heard her saying, where in the past, that's what maybe what she would have done. It's what a lot of us would have done. Vacation equals, woohoo, it's a free for all. And the reality is, you'd still want to maintain your consistency and you can kind of slide through that. All right, who else wants to share like where you were for, like let's talk about July, like what it looked like, where you are now after July as far as it is hitting those target goals. And then talking about August and setting that up for success. Stacy, are you trying to come off of mute or are you just looking at me? There you are.
Oh no, I was trying to push all sorts of buttons because I'm at the gym and one screen is up and you're up and I'm like, I don't know what's got me push anymore.
How'd you do in July? I kind of know what you're going to say. You're kind of similar to Christina in many ways, hey?
Yeah, July was busy, but for different reasons for me, and you know what those are. Um, and I think probably my biggest takeaway was I don't know how to put this, but when you suffer the amount of losses, you start realizing where you hold things and how to deal with it. And um, when you hold everything in your gut, it makes progress very tough. It doesn't make it impossible because I did make progress, but even through that, you have to learn how to grow and deal. And I think I did some of that.
Yeah, very true. And it's a really good, I love how you put that. And by the way, if you didn't get on the call yesterday with David, go watch the replay. It'll be really good for you, Stacy.
Okay, I will do that.
Everybody here watched the replay if you didn't see it, but I just kind of leaning into some of what you just said, Stacy. I know he chatted a bit about it, but so true, guys. So, and what Stacy's saying, and yes, I will actually say that like one of her, goals in July was, well, she it was just kind of happened, but it wasn't necessarily about maintaining. There's a lot of life will life, and life is going to life in very different ways, and sometimes it's not very fun ways, and it can be very emotionally draining. And we are programmed as women, as females, even I'm just going to say as humans, but females are more so prone to it than males to look as food as an emotional support tool. And we deal with things in our gut and we look for food for emotional support. Food is not an emotional support. This is why I talk like about food as fuel to you guys all the time. And you might be like, what? Bitch just doesn't have any fun. But the reality is connecting those dots. And once you start to do that, and what Stacy's talking about is that, yeah, you really have to do some work and be like, okay, what am I really feeling? What am I feeling right now? And what does that part of me need that feels like it's going to get it from food? And it's usually like in a time of sadness, comfort, or a distraction. A distraction can sometimes be that. And it comes down to identifying what it is and then feeding that part of you that needs that with the support that they actually need, which isn't food. And I'm talking about parts because we all have parts, whether you want to believe that kind of woo or not. We all have that's what those voices are in your head, and really talking about like, okay, what does this part of me need right now? It needs comfort. Well, food isn't going to comfort it. But if you can identify that, you can then figure out what it needs for comfort, what that part of you needs for comfort and get that. Or if it's a distraction, oh, I need to be distracted from all of this right now. It's too much on me. Then what is it you do to distract yourself? It doesn't need to be sit down and eat a bag of M&Ms. It could be that's just what we're programmed for. So I think that's a lot of what Stacy was talking about. And I know you're at the gym, Stacy, so I won't call you back, but I do want you to think about what your goals are for August, okay? She's doing in the middle of something, so we'll come back to her. All right, who wants to go next? I will call on you.
Okay, so July was let's get it, let's be the maintainer. So I guess I'm maintaining.
Mhm.
So um I guess I mean that's basically what I'm doing, but that comfort thing, I mean, like when you get scared or whatever's going on and then you grab the food, I like I like that it's gone. I'm enjoying that.
Mhm.
So I understand that, Stacy, because I've had a lot of grief too. I know we all probably have. And so yeah, so July was maintain. Let's get in the maintain, and I'm maintaining well.
Mhm. I think you learned a lot though this month too, and Barb, in July. Like I think like when I look at where you were in July and if you accomplished it at the beginning of July, it was like, okay, let's start to figure out our macros. How do we play with this? How do we do very similar to Christina in many ways. You had a lot going on, and I think you were very successful in starting to track, log, do things on your own and find, as you said, that maintenance. But again, guys, I was actually thinking of you, Barb, as I was saying this about Christina. Barb also made great results. Like, she's down in body fat percentage. So the results don't stop when that happens. And I just actually was talking with you a little bit about that in your check-in, Barb. Like the results don't stop when that happens. You're still going to see those results there a little bit. They might not be as visible, but they continue to happen. So, it's okay once you get to a certain place where you're comfortable and happy with your results to be in that maintenance phase for a while. And then you can always go back into a fat loss phase and dial it back in again and cut it back again. But know that, when you're in that place, you're not going to lose your results, but you were very consistent with what you did. So I felt like there was a lot of learning that went on in July. And by the end of the month, you were like, well, I fucking got this. Like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and there's a son's going to college, and then another, and all of this is like happy, bittersweet times. But and I have one more thing that we're doing this weekend. Um, just not anything, it doesn't mean it's surrounded by food or nothing like that. It's just a family thing that it's exciting. But so once those two things are kind of under the belt and we're kind of settled, like I said in my response, is that there's going to be a natural energy that's going to have to be streamlined somewhere. And so that's where it will come to me. And then I can start the cut phase again. um, because that 5%, well, I went from 23%, the body fat, but that was in 2019 before the program. And then I kind of hung out there, then went down to 20% for probably a year. And then Jules got into the equation, and then I dropped another 5%. So um, I wanna get back into the cutting phase. So that's my August.
Mhm.
And going into September, I guess I'll be half done with August, but I don't know, months or months, I don't know, whatever.
I love that. I love that. You definitely have made some really big progress in that as well. And consistency, guys, it's all about consistency. So, all right. So, plan for August, you're going to go back and drop some more body fat. Got it. And talking a little bit about like leaning into, I want to just kind of drop into like, in several of Barb's check-ins, it said like, I'm happy with where you're at. I love with what's going on with you, all of the things, and she'd brought back, I think at one time a couple, and I'm just gonna talk about it, Barb. I'm sure you don't mind. She's like, I don't know why I don't want to go in a cut phase right now. I just don't think I want to. Like, I don't know what's going on. Guys, that's okay. Like I came back, I'm like, well, that's okay. It's okay. It's not like you're not seeing results right now. It's not like you're not working on yourself. It's not like you're not doing things. You again, it's not, you didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You just kind of took your foot off the gas a little bit and you're like, but again, when you're in a place where you're like, I really am enjoying this. It's okay if you're not finished yet. You can take your foot off the gas and you can be in cruise control and maintain for a while and stay consistent and you're still going to get the results because you're still fueling your body, you're still working out, you're still hitting your step goals. You're just not in a heavier cut phase and things will just kind of steady out. But that doesn't mean body fat, you stop losing it. Doesn't mean that you stop gaining strength. It's just not maybe as rapid. So what I want to say there is like that's the piece where you have to have the patience and give yourself a little grace. You're not always going to want to do it's hard work to be in a fat loss phase. Trust me, I know. Like I get done with this, like, and I'm in a fat loss phase, like none of you guys would ever know. Like to get to compete, like that is a crazy ass shit that I do. And even my prep right now isn't even as crazy as sometimes it's actually been quite easier than it normally is. But I mean, by the time I get to the end of it, I need a chill pill for a while. So, because it's hard work to do it. So it's okay to do that was when you reach a peak in your, you're like, I kind of like where I am right now. So, I think that was really important to recognize, Barb. So well done.
So I have a question for you. Hmm. What made it easier? What's making it easier for you?
My prep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. That's a really good question. What I mean by easier is I've had to work harder at cuts before. This has just been a different one. My body is responding different. It doesn't need for I have been my last competition, I did cardio 2 times a day, 45 minutes on the stairs coming in along with my lift. I'm just hitting 15,000 steps and doing stairs, master 30 minutes, 3 days a week. That's it this time. Like that's what I mean. It's different. My calories have had, my macros have gotten, my macros are probably about the same as they've always been, but predominantly it's been easier, mostly with like the cardio piece of it. I've had to push harder. My body's just responding easier, faster. It's happier. It feels happier. It's just like, so we don't really know why.
So
Because,
you found your maintenance
well,
and
yeah.
then now you're cutting or you're going down.
Can't really say that though. You got to remember, I'm coming off of 2 years of, I was losing fat that entire. So I remember I got in that severe accident. Everything went on its head.
Yeah.
My
Oh
body
yeah.
did this and changed. So I know I was not in maintenance. That entire time, my body was healing. Like I kept my nutrition, but my nutrition was, well, it was in maintenance, yes, to answer your question. But, and then slowly kind of tapered into fat loss. So that could be part of it. If you want to lean into the woo, it could have been the universe going, bitch, you spent 5 years killing me. If you're not going to sit your ass down, I'm going to sit it down for you. Wham! I think it could have been a little nicer about it, but it could be. So you are correct. It could have something to do with the body. My body had some reprieve there for a while, but I was, yeah, that could be. But I want to say, I want to correct, I didn't find my maintenance there. My maintenance will probably look different coming out of this prep, and it'll be probably more normal than what it was when I was recovering. Does that make sense, Barb? Yeah. But that is probably a very valid point, and it could be part of why this is a little bit different than for me, is my body's just in a different spot right now after all of that. Bring it on. I'm glad I don't have to stand on the Stairmaster 45 minutes 2 times a day. Sheesh, that's a bitch. And my body fat percentage is coming down the same way. Like it just is.
That gives me cold chills. Okay, I gotta shave again. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right.
Oh dear.
Who else has got something? I'm going to call on Trisha came off of, did you just come off of mute? I don't see your
Yeah,
hand.
I'm off of mute.
Awesome.
So are you calling on me?
I am.
Uh, yeah, I think overall, July was like everybody else. July was super, super busy. Um, but I just, like I've been telling you, I feel like I'm so focused on being consistent that it's been very successful. Um, and I think sometimes I don't want to say that because I do feel like on one hand it's a brag, and I'm super proud of myself for being so consistent because but I didn't start till the end of May and it's now August and I'm down 20 plus pounds. And I think it's all about that. I focused on the food, I focused on the workouts. I do not miss a workout. So much so that I feel like I'm a little obsessed with them now. um, so maybe good or bad, I don't know. But um, yeah, I mean, I'm overall loving the whole program. Yes, I've fallen on and off a little bit here and there, because there's been a lot of travel. There's been a lot of just events, and holidays, and uh, but it's a bite. You know, it's a bite, and you're right. I'm not tracking that one bite because really what's in it, but I probably should be. But and it's not all the time. It's like you know, the other day it was a single bite of a chicken dumpling. Okay, great. I had it. I did. But again, one bite. And then going forward, I do have this really big event coming up in October. So all I can see is a very specific dress. All I can see is like what I want to look like in that dress. And so I'm just diving in. I want to. It's just super important for me. So I'm doing it for myself. Yes, I want to look good on my husband's arm. But I doing it because I just fucking want it.
Yeah. Fun place to
Oh,
be, isn't it?
yeah.
You guys feel that energy? Like that is like when you have that type of energy, it really like helps you to stay focused. So those of you that are new that are leaning in, like a lot of times, you see on, and I want to say this because I think I brought this up. I think it was you, Trisha, on your check-in. There's a few of you that do this. Take those check-ins really seriously. Like, when I give you those stretch goals for the year, you should really reach for that stretch goal. And then like this is what we're doing right now is you break it down each month. What is it that you need to do this month to get to that goal and then breaking it down weekly. And Trisha, that's one thing that you do really well. You use it as a tool. And guys, when you lean in and you use that as a tool and you really break it down, what Trisha just said, like that helps. It's kind of the thing that I try to explain to you. So, like, what you're doing, Trisha, is no different than me. I have to stand on a stage in a teeny little bikini. It makes fucking shit. Like you get laser fucking focused, right? And so you guys don't have to. A lot of times you may say like, but that's not what I want to do, Jules. You just help me connect the dots, Trisha. So like it can be something like that. I see what I want to look like. I have an event in October and I know what I want to look like. And I know the dress and I know how I want to look on my husband's arms. Like what she just described to you is called envisioning. And when you can have that kind of outlook, if you can envision, that's when I say you need to see it, see yourself there, feel yourself there, know what you're wearing, know who's with you. These are things like I talk to you guys about, and that is super important. Creating that vision of what you want. What are you wearing? What do you look like? Who's with you? What's happening? That becomes super, super powerful. And you don't have to stand on a stage in a tiny little bikini. Your tiny bikini could be an event in October where you want to look fucking sexy in a specific dress and size on your husband's arms. That's your competition. And it helps you become laser focused on that goal because you see it every day. It's in your mind. You want that. So I love that for you. And I mean, you're well on your way. And guys, like that is, what I like too is you did master that, the last couple of months, Trisha, your consistency levels have been, you know, awesome, right? You consistently show up for yourself and, being somebody that's new. And again, a couple of you guys that are new, I see you guys listening in. And by the way, you new ones that are listening in that don't have your cameras on, FYI, a rule of mine is unless you're in a bubble bath, or driving or something like that, your camera is supposed to be on so we can see your faces. Just heads up on that. But for those of you guys that are new, I think what you said, Trisha, is super important. You made some big changes. Like your habits coming in here will be safe to say we're not the best. I mean, I remember
Oh,
our
1000%. Yeah.
yeah,
Not the best. And somebody else said
I
it, maybe it was Barb, about having like, um, oh, just tricks, or maybe it was Christina, but they were little tricks, right? We all have them. And those tricks are out the window.
yeah. Yeah. I remember that call. Like, yeah, you had the tricks and you weren't even sure if you could do it. You were like, I
Yeah.
don't know about this. And you had a lot of, and you guys can relate to this. She had a lot of challenges. I remember our call. I've got family. I have a mother-in-law. I have people that are cooking around me. I have all this shit fucking noise going on. And Jules, I don't know about this.
Mhm.
But we took it one step at a time. You leaned in and you were very, very consistent. And she gave herself grace when she had little flukes here and there. And she just stood up, dusted herself off, and went again. And I think that's, and again, I wanted to lean in this like you've had tremendous results. Guys, don't ever, comparison is the thief of joy. So sometimes we hear the results that others have had. Remember, everybody's story is different. And sometimes when we come from a whole lot of chaos and just these shifts, they can make major differences. And, Trisha, like we really made a major change in Trisha's life. Like we're not even hitting the tail of what she was doing versus what she's doing now. Remember, that can look very, very different. So, her results I mean, you all had like, yes, you've had amazing results, but you've also been super consistent. And if you guys listen to her, there's a lot of things that she's shifted on as well that haven't been very comfortable. You talked about it last week, which was very interesting. You talked about like socializing as, in your 50s and, going out for, it's social, like being at a bar or something like that and changing that habit from that emotional habit of drinking to not. So, and it wasn't easy, you even talked about it being uncomfortable, but you did it anyway.
Did. You're right. And it feels better now. You're right. It was super hard, but it does feel so much better now. And now my circle of friends are like, "Oh, hey, Trisha's coming. I've got her iced tea. Like, nothing else. I just want that iced tea." So I feel good about that. And my friends are good with that too.
Yeah, I love that you said that too. And it takes a minute, guys. Like it's uncomfortable in the beginning, but it's about sticking to, it's not about taking away and restricting yourself. Sometimes I think we think we're restricting ourselves, but you really want this because you really want to wear that dress in October. And I'm just relating it to Trisha because we're talking about her, but you really want it. And there's a little voice, it's that part of you that says, but I want to fit in, but I don't want to look different, but I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. So I'm going to have the drink the thing or the thing, because you don't want to say that. The reality is, and that's where I challenge you guys to zoom out. Do you really want the glass of wine? Do you really want the pizza? Do you really want the whatever the thing is? Or is it just that you don't want to make somebody else uncomfortable or you don't want to be the one sticking out? Because that was me in the beginning too. The reality was is nobody around me gave a shit, really. It was me that was uncomfortable. And once I said that, much like, I'm sure there's others of you that have experienced that, but that's where you get to where your friends are, you walk in the room and they're like, oh, here comes Jules, here comes Trisha, here comes Barb. Let me just get this for her. Because I know that's what, and they respect it. They don't maybe understand fully what you're doing, but they support you. And that's important.
Well, you have to train the people. You're training
I didn't
yourself.
want to say that, but all right, Barb.
You do. You have to train them. It's true. Like we have reps that bring in all this stuff. Now they say, well, what would you like? And I'm like, just get it for the girls. Don't worry about Doctor and I. We're good, because I'm bringing ours. But you have to train them. And then once they're trained, then they're like, okay. And then, you get a few people that you haven't trained yet. And then, okay, you got to make the decision, right? But they learn. They all learn. And then you walk around and show them what you've trained, right? So, something to ponder.
Yeah, that's very true. And sometimes guys, the training piece just comes automatic. Like they just automatically start doing it. I remember similar situations when I was in corporate world, like the lunches that they would cater in were a disaster. I never asked anybody to change that. Like I never did. I just brought my own thing, did my own thing, and then suddenly they started getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and like, I, it just happens because you're right. What Barb said, people start to like, well, apparently it works. Look at her. It's kind of what goes through their heads, and it would happen. I went from the girl of Jesus Christ, are you eating again? To hey, look what I'm doing, Jules. I prepared all my food. And guess what? I now walk 10,000 steps a day and I went to the gym 3 times a week. They'd be bragging to me in the gym versus in the beginning, they were like, what the hell are you doing? So I love that. Yes, it's very true. All right. Who else wants to talk about an August, July? What happened in July? What were our goals in July? Where are we at? And then where are we going in August? I am going to read it. You know what, Rachel? Talk to me, Mama.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Let's see. I think for July, I was just very vague in my goals. I was just trying to show up and be the healthiest version of me with everything. I think in all, I was still kind of sort of doing it and um, maintaining, I guess.
Yeah.
I think August, I really want to work mentally on really digging into my habits and showing up for myself more, not feeling guilty for things. So I guess that's where I'm at. I'm trying to work on it, wake up, do my meditation walks more, which I did today. So, or for the call. Yeah, so I think mainly I'm going to work more mentally this month and try to get my right intentions for myself.
Yeah. I love that. I love that, guys. And again, another, very similar story, Rachel, and I would say like, so, Rachel and I were working last month in July, see if it's fair to say, like on her too, kind of finding her groove a little bit with her maintenance and where could she with her outings, like kind of, explore more of this night, I think she was more doing an 85-15 and she was really learning to focus on that 85 and where does that 15 fit in kind of thing. That was something that we worked on and I'd say you got your groove down on that. So I love that, and I think what I love too about this, guys, is when you start to create these intentions and you have these goals, I watch you from the outside in, you don't, may not realize it. You set yourself up. I almost see where you're going in the next month with your goals. Like, for example, Rachel, I knew this was going to be your goal in August. Like, I could see the progression in July. And you guys naturally, because what happens is when you start to do the work, you start to expose other things that you start to see yourself versus me, your coach, calling it out to you. My job sometimes is to take that big old light and shine it on the corner. I'm not always here to tell you everything. My job is to shine that big old light on that corner. So you look over there and you see that cockroach and you go, damn. Maybe not the cock, but you catch my drift, right? You see that little thing and you're like, oh, that's what's over there. And then you see it for yourself versus me telling you, because it's much more powerful when you discover it. And so I love that too, Rachel. I saw this coming, and I think that's a really good step is to start working on what are my intentions? Like what are the things that trigger me? What are the things that I can control. So I think that's like, and your whole journey with me has been a progression. I've loved watching it. It's just been do. Like you've made major changes since you and I started together. A lot
Yeah.
have been mental, so I wouldn't discredit that. A lot of it has been a lot of that energy in the way that you look at things. So I love that. Wow. Anything else to add? Did I sum that up for you?
No, you summed it up great. So,
Awesome. All right. Well, a lot of you guys are in very, very similar places. If anybody has discovered that, raise your hand. Awesome. I love that. Any other shares? Cindy, my friend, I see you in here, but your camera's off. You might be getting ready for work. And thank you, Kate. I did record. And Christina Pinto loves the group. She's looking forward to listening to the replay. She had to go. Julie Stanford, are you in a place where you can share? Oh, there's Brandy. Brandy, are you ready to talk to me? She's like, damn it, I shouldn't have came off my camera.
I was finally decent. That's why, yeah. uh, I think for me, it was a bunch of friends and I pitched in at the beginning of the year to hire a goals person.
Mhm.
And we set our goals. And then I went back and looked at them this week. So I was feeling pretty struggling with summer. And I had actually reached all the goals that were in there. So that was surprising, to like, okay, maybe we're not failing as bad as we thought. Um, so it was good to be able to, okay, now I need to set, goals for the next 6 months. Um, and so I've called all the girls that were in the first call and was like, you want to do another one? Not with him, but like just us to reset, have an excuse for girls to get together and hang out and then reset our goals and then
I
go
love
from there. So yeah, it's just, uh, I hit the weight loss. I still want more, but like I hit the weight loss I wanted. Then I rode the 6 barrel races and then and it's just a little difficult right now with the things and we're just got to come up with a different plan. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
working 2 jobs was not quite as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Are you in
So,
the barn?
yes, I'm
Where's
literally like, I'm feeding horses. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. I was just feeding horses right now. So,
figured as much. I was going to say I want to see the new one, but
yeah, you can.
I do. But I want to, while you're doing that, I want to just say like so it doesn't surprise me, Brandy, that you said that. Like I've been visually watching how you haven't really seen what you're doing. Like, and that's kind of like in some of your, I think it was even your check-in this week where I was like, listen, you have made some crazy results. And sometimes, you guys don't see what the work that you're actually doing. So I'm glad that you recognize that because sometimes these small little shifts that you make, above the uh, you make along the way like make huge differences so that I'm glad that you're seeing that because there are big real results that are happening. It takes time, and when you got a lot going on you don't always see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like even lifting the saddle at the race this weekend, it was like, huh, that's a lot easier.
Huh. I love
Uh,
those little ahas. That's awesome. All right. Thanks for sharing, and I can't wait to hear your goals. I know I would think a little bit more, lean into that. You and I can chat more about that, what that is, physically for you in August, and what we want to do and reset those goals again, based on where you're at now and where you want to be and like what's going on in your life now. And that's kind of like what you want to do, guys. So like, again, Brandy talked about like things are shifting again. So like again, when you reassess your goals each month, where am I? Where do I want to be? And what do I need to get there? I have a tool I've given some of you guys a worksheet. So if you guys want a worksheet to work through this, all you have to do is raise your hand or message me that you want that, and I can put it on your tasks. In fact, I'll share it with you. Anybody want to see what it looks like? It's a
Was
home.
this the worksheet you and I talked about the questions or not?
Yeah,
It is okay. I don't know if I got that.
I think I put it on your tasks. If you guys have asked me for it, I put it on your tasks. But I'm going to assume everybody just said yes. So I'm going to just share it really quick. So it's something that I created a while back. I just had it rebranded into Becoming Her. But it takes you through an awareness phase. And this is a digital worksheet that you can work yourself through. And then it's going to take you through a reflection phase. And then it's going to take you through an action phase. And these questions are actually very strategic. They are placed in a way to help you like with a transformation. Each question will lead to a different question. And if you take it seriously and you work through it, when you get to the end, it's designed to get to work your mind to a place where you'll come up with the action items on your own. This can work with anything. This can work with any type of goal, not just a fitness goal, and you can use it multiple times. This is a tool that I used to use. Coach Jen uses it all the time with herself. Like a lot of times she'll just use it. So if it's something that you want and I send it to you, it's a digital download. If you save it with its original title here or you title it something different, each time you fill it out, if you just change the title, maybe you add the date to it, you can keep the original one and then save the one that you did. Does that make sense? But if you just save over the top of this, you'll have answers in your questions, but you can save it blank on your phone. So what it does is some of these questions you might say, I've seen those before on your Discover call. Yep. So you want to ask yourself where you are now. And the purpose of asking yourself where you are is to get facts. What you have to remember is there's feelings and facts, guys. So when we set goals and we talk to ourselves, we have to learn to identify what are the facts about the situation and what do I feel. As females, more so than men, we lean into our feelings. We get those confused, and they're two different things. And you have to identify what the facts are. So that's what I was talking about before when it comes to even like food emotion. Like, what are the facts? What does that part of you really want or need? Not how do you feel? What are the facts? What's happening in this situation? Like the facts are, I just had a really fucking stressful day. I'm feeling overwhelmed. That's the difference. We tend to want to feed the feeling. But if we can identify what the fact is and then understand how we're feeling, we can maneuver around it. So this is something like, again, when it comes to setting goals and where am I right now and where do I want to be? So you want to identify the fact, where am I right now? I'm in a really fucking good place. I love my body. I'm super happy with it. My fitness is on point. My mindset is here. This could be an example of like, if you're walking through it right now, I hit all my goals in July. This is fucking awesome. I'm on fire. Maybe the second, or it could be different. It could be like, you know what? I didn't really do what I wanted to do. I broke promises to myself, blah, 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 blah. These are the facts. How do you feel about it? You know, whatever. So it can go either way. Then you want to ask yourself, well, so here's where it comes in. How do I feel about where I am? That's where you're going to lean into connecting your current reality, that reality, to the emotion behind it. So that's, I'm feeling fucking frustrated about this. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Maybe I'm motivated. Maybe I'm motivated to do something new, to make more changes. The next question it'll take you to is, how did you get here? So this is like, again, this is going to go two different ways depending on those questions. I got here through consistency and doing the hard thing over and over again. Or maybe it's, you know what, I got here because I was kind of sort of doing shit. This is, again, where Krista Pinto in the beginning was talking about this tool right here. If you're willing to be uncomfortable, will help you to get very honest with yourself. Okay. Very, very honest with yourself about where are you? All right. Then being honest about how do you feel where you're at right now. Honestly talk to yourself. How do you feel? Evaluate your current habits. Do they align with your goals? Are your routines helping you or hindering you? Rachel talked about adding in meditation walks in the morning because listen, I need to make some changes. She actually had this worksheet as well. So this is something, it's a tool to help you like just kind of open up your mind a little. Number 5 is, why is this working? So now this is just coming to a little bit more of a peak here, identifying where you are. Is where you are working. If it's working or not working, why is it working or not working? Again, you see these questions are digging deeper. They're forcing you to get very, very honest with yourself. When it comes to the reflection phase, the goal is to clarify, to get a little bit clarity around this emotional impact that you're having. And asking yourself, and this is like kind of like what we're talking about right now, like coming out of July, moving into August, or if you're brand new, coming out, brand new, listening to this right now, talking about where you are currently, where you want to be at the end of this journey. You can use this so many different ways, guys, but what do you really want? Trisha, I really want to look fucking hot as hell in a dress on my husband's arm. This is going to help, like, define what is this aspiration, right? And then why do you want that? This is an important question not to skip over. Why do you want it? She already told us. She knows it, but this is going to help you. Like, why do you want this? I want this for myself. I want this because I want to, whatever it is, like, why do you want it? Reveal that emotion. And that's like where I told you the power of envisioning. If you couldn't feel the emotion behind Trisha's answer, she literally kind of did this. If you couldn't feel, that's the kind of emotion you want to pull out of yourself. What is that driver that's going to drive you? It could be how this achievement, as is going to affect your life. Maybe it's affect other people in your life. Maybe it's like how you're going to feel. I don't know. Number 8 is, how would you feel if you got what you wanted? She like literally did this, and I don't think I've even maybe I gave this to her. I don't know, but she like literally did this as she was talking in the beginning. She described to you guys how she would feel if she got what she wanted. This is what you want to do with this. Like, visualize the benefits, just like she did, of what that success is going to look like. This is powerful shit when you do this. And it could look different for all of you guys. And then getting really honest with yourself again, like we talked about in the beginning, like Christina talked about how she had to get honest with herself, and that was the biggest shift in July. What is getting in the way of what you want? And what is it? Identify the obstacles, the limiting beliefs. Again, when we talk about limiting beliefs, go listen into the call yesterday that David did. Talks a lot about that. Example, what is it? List out these examples. Number 10, what would be required to overcome these obstacles? Again, we're digging very deep into this. You have to sit down now and brainstorm, like, what are the things and the actions that you need to do? And then, of course, you get to the action phase where you have to really get clear with yourself on what do you know needs to be done. How are you going to measure it? It has to be measured. You have to have measures. A lot of this stuff works into your check-ins, but how are you going to measure it? You have to set up a way to track your progress. Financial's easy, fitness and health. How do you track your results? Is it how you feel? Is it how you look? Is it specific sizes that you are going to fit into? Like, what is it? I would tell you not to use the scale here as a true measurement. I would lean into other things as well. And then most importantly, in the action part, when will this be done? Don't leave it open-ended, guys. When will this be done? Give yourself a time. Trisha gave herself a time. October blank. She knows when it's going to be done. I know when this is going to be done. August 16th. Clear. If it's open-ended, it's easy to kind of sort of doing things. But if you give yourself a clear, concise, and you don't have to have an event like me or Trisha or anybody like that, but give yourself a date. This is going to be done by this time. Measurable and a date. Who likes that?
So what if, when you set a date, what if honestly, I don't really have a date? This is my lifestyle. I mean, even though I'm going to go into a cut, but I have to kind of see what my body does. I'm just kind of playing. You know what I mean? Like I want
Every
to see,
goal,
I want to see what my body can do.
every goal has a date. So yes, this is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle for me, but I also have a end date, don't I?
For your show.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be a show. That's for me, but I still have an end date. But this is still a lifestyle for me. When that show is over, I'm not going to throw shit out the window and go back, right? Same with Trisha. So that my answer to your question, Barb, would be like if and that this could be part of what you need to kind of work on. So you have to just say, so that would just be I'm going to go into a cut. My goal is to be at 14%. I'm throwing shit out there. I don't know what it is, Barb, but say it's my goal is to be at 14% body fat by this date. Do you see what I'm saying? Or
Mhm.
I want to fit into a size blank. You don't have to have an event or anything, but if you want to go into a cut, what are the measurables of it? And that's easy for you. Like maybe it's body fat percentage, maybe it's certain sizes in the clothes, maybe it's measurements, whatever that is. And that's going to be that second piece of it. How are you going to measure it? And then by what date are you going to be that end goal? Do you see what I mean? So that it's a lifestyle, but if you're going to instill a cut on top of it now, how long are you going to be in that cut and what is the result of that cut?
Mm.
So
Okay.
that's where the timeline comes in. Does that help clear it up for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about it.
Yeah, maybe. And here's the thing.
Like,
If
yeah.
you're really not, and I want you guys to all hear this, and this is kind of what I've been trying to say to you, Barb. It is okay to be okay with where you are and to continue to get results like in a maintenance phase. Like I said, Barb, you are going to continue to lose body fat even at a maintenance phase because of how you're eating, how you're working out, the feeling. It's just not accelerated. You are bound to, there's no way you don't continue to change because you eat high protein, you move your body, you exercise. The only way that that would happen is if all of that started to go on its head. So it's also about it's okay to maybe not want it. When you want it, you'll know it. You'll be like, this is what I want to do, and this is the date. And I went through this too. Like I was topsy-turvy about whether I wanted to stand on stage again. I had a lot of fear, I had a lot of things going on in my head, and I danced out of it. And it took me a minute to lock in and go, no, this is really what I want to do. Like there were months. That's why you guys like saw me. Like I was supposed to compete way back in June. I didn't because I wasn't there yet. I wasn't there yet, and I had to be okay with not being there yet. I was not there yet. I was not ready to put my foot on the gas yet. And one of the hardest pills I had to swallow is I wasn't a bad person. There was nothing wrong with me because I wasn't there yet. It was okay to be happy with where I was. It was okay for me. This is my personal thing, not yours, anybody's on this call, but I had to get really real that it was okay to be happy as fuck that I had two legs, that I was back in the gym, that I was walking. Do you see what I'm saying? Like my personal victory was I had gotten back to where I was prior to the accident, my maintenance prior. And I literally had to be okay with, you know what? I just want to, this is a metaphor, guys. I just want to sit down on the curb and take a breath for a minute. I'm going to cross the street. I know I want to go across the street, but I don't think I want to do it right now. Like, and I remember having this conversation with one of my girlfriends. I'm like, is it okay? Is there something wrong with me? I know I want to compete again. I really know that I want to do it. Because she's like, well, maybe you don't. Maybe you're done with that. I'm like, no, I do. But I just want to sit my happy ass down on this curb and I want to look across the crosswalk. And I just want to sit here and breathe. So I don't know if that helps you relate, Barb, but I had to learn to be okay with that. And that's okay. You might, and then I knew when it was time, when that light turned green, I knew when I wanted to cross it. There was, I went, oh, now I'm ready to cross it. Let's go. And I can't explain it. I just knew. But I wasn't doing anything. I was still getting results. Things were still happening, but I had to, it's got to be, and you'll know it. So if you're in that place of, I don't know, that's okay. You're probably not ready to make that decision. You're just happy as fuck to be where you are right now. And you're proud of yourself for being where you are. And that's 100% okay. Does that help? Sweet. Does that help anybody around here? So Listen, guys, I go through shit all the time in my head. If you only knew the things that go on in between these years. All right, well, this was a long one. Everybody's heading to work. All right, so if you guys, I see Stacy, you want it in your task. Best thing to do if you guys want this homework. Those of you that I've given it to, make sure that you do it and send me your results because it's going to help me to help you with your goals. If you do want it, your best thing to do is I don't always see all of these comments. So if you're watching the recording, if you're here, just private message me that you want the writing assignment. I'll know exactly what you mean and I'll stick it in your tasks. Okay. All right. Have a fantastic day, an amazing week, and let's just crush August. You ready? All right, guys. Peace.